this is Cinema.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And welcome back to another Rambling Reviews, where we give you reviews of more games in one video, this time 3 games.
Yeah, and we're starting off with Cantaloop.
Yeah, if you know us, you know that we love escape room puzzle games.
Yeah.
And a couple of years back, a friend of mine, or a guy I got to know in Essen, I don't know, I actually just met him a couple of times in Essen, but we have spoken a lot. His name is Friedemann Findeisen.
Yeah.
I know his name, but I was just like doing this because he is the guy who made this game. I remember he's talking about like doing a new kind of escape room puzzle game.
Yeah.
And I was excited about that. And now it's finally released and we have played it. So just like, so you know, you have met him, right?
I met him, yes.
And I know the design of this game, but I would, basically, as easy as this, if I did not like it, I would just then not review it. So we're not gonna say anything that we don't mean about this game, just so you know. But take that with what you want. Just wanted to be clear about that. So what is this game?
It is, as it says, it is an interactive adventure game, point and click style. So it's inspired, I guess, by point and click video games. That is quite.
You don't have to guess
obvious.
either. Like if you have played any point and click games and open this, see like this is just a point and click game.
Yeah, and it is about this guy. It says on the back on the box, it's Hook, and he's playing this big coup, but he needs to get a team.
Yes.
So he's breaking into prison. And what you're doing in the game is basically finding items, trying to combine it with other items, trying to like travel from location to location and just do point and click puzzles. Yeah,
so I've never been a huge fan of the classic point and click games. I know people are going to be like, what? I never really loved Monkey Island and all of those. Have you played any of those? No. I never loved them because they were just so stupidly hard. And a lot of these combinations just made no sense. Like, oh, I had to put this toilet plunger in a banana and then I get a hat. Like that's how it feels to play those games. And so that was kind of like when we got into this, I was like, okay, how hard is it going to be? How much illogical things is going to be? So let's talk a bit about the puzzles. There's a couple of things I want to talk about which make this different than other escape room games. But there are a lot of kind of escape room game puzzles. And some of them feel like things we have seen before in Unlock, in all of this. Like it's a good mashup of different puzzles, I think. What do you think about like the puzzle quality in the game?
First off, I think it's like very important to see that you're not getting an escape room game because you're not. These are more point and click puzzles where you combine things or just you're not. It's kind of the same puzzle style going throughout the game because it has to be that way. I like it though. I really like the puzzles in the game. Sometimes we got really stuck and it was hard, but when we got to the solution, either by help and hints or by ourselves, the solution always made sense.
Yes.
And that is really important to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I want to talk about which makes this different is like integrated into the puzzles is this is going to be harder than your normal escape room game. And one of the big reasons for that is that this is like a video game. It is like, oh, I know I'm going to go to this location, now I'm going to just go to this location. You have to remember what's in what location. You have to remember, oh, maybe if we go, oh no, we got this thing. Maybe if we go to that location and combine it with that thing, maybe we will then be able to do that thing. And that makes it a lot harder because like when you play, for example, a scenario of Unlock, you're gonna be in like maybe one, depending on the scenario, but maybe like you're gonna be in one location at a time and have like these 5 cards and you can spend them in that location. Maybe a couple of them you have to use in another location later, but here you are almost in all locations at all times. So you have a lot more stuff going on. It is way more like a video game in that way because you have a lot more freedom in what you do.
Yeah, it's not very open.
It's not a linear experience.
And that is both positive and negative. Positive because if you're stuck one place, you can go to another and see what you can do there. But negative in the sense that it is a little harder because you don't know what fits to what puzzle, kind of. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing is that the help section is actually really good,
Very
which
good.
is important in
Yes.
this kind of games. Not to spoil anything like at all, but it's basically there is a story you're going through, and the way the game remembers is that you use this. I'm going to open it up. I'm not going to show you anything of the game, but I'm going to show you just this little thing here. The game uses this grid to remember. I don't know if you even see it. The grid here to remember what you have done. So somebody in the game will tell you like, cross off E2. As you see, we have not crossed off. We took a picture and used the iPad so that we can lend it to somebody else.
Yes.
That's what we like to do with this kind of game, because you're not destroying anything. If you don't write on this, you're not destroying anything in the game. So it's reusable, which I love. So let's say it says cross off D6, and somewhere else it's going to say if D6, then do that.
Yeah.
And that is a great way for the game to remember. So the help section works like that. You go and you see which of these don't we have. We don't have that. Let's see what we have to do there. And then you get like a basic description, and maybe that, you get some, of course, we can go and try that.
Yes.
Or you can get a tip 1, tip 2, or the solution.
Yeah, I really like that. Sometimes we just needed like the headline to get us going, like, we need to do this. Or sometimes we needed 1 or 2 hints. I really also think it's really nice that they included the actual solution if you're really stuck. Because sometimes you're really stuck and you just need to move on to have fun. We took quite a lot of hints here. And I'm proud about that, because we have this policy in escape rooms as well.
Yeah.
We would rather take a hint and have fun than like be stuck for many minutes.
Yeah. In escape rooms, the minutes are more precious, of course, than it. We spent around 6 hours on this. I guess if we were not using any hints, we would still be playing it 24, 40 hours, because a couple of these puzzles I would not have understood. But I'd rather it being a bit too hard than it being a bit too easy. It's not one that you can just fly into.
Yeah.
So a couple of things more. Like, first of all, look at this.
It's awesome.
I'm going to open this up.
Yeah.
One of these, there's a backpack more, but the glue has fallen out, so it's just like you can glue it back on. Which I'm going to do before I lend it to somebody. And it's basically a book. It is super, super cool and great quality of the pages. Of course, you're going to flip back and forth of the pages, so you have to be a bit like, you can rip it out if you're not, if you are not...
Stupid. Yeah. Let's
no,
go with
you're
that.
we're not ripping off if you're not stupid. If you're not careful. What's the word? Stupid doesn't make any sense.
Not careful? I don't know.
If you're not careful, you can rip them out. Not if you're not stupid, you can rip them off. That makes no sense at all. That would be a bad puzzle. So, a couple of things. First of all, let's talk a bit about the story. Before we talk about the story, let's talk a bit about, does this need to be a board game? Because that was one thing I was thinking about when playing this. And then it because this really feels like a video game. And there's a lot of reading, a lot of putting cards and finding the right combination, reading that. And does it need to be a board game? And I think for me in the beginning, I was like, I'm unsure this would have worked as well as a video game. And I think it would have worked amazing as a video game. But then of course you get that it is more than I don't feel like it's too fiddly. So it's all down to preference, baby. You don't get the voice acting, you don't get the animation, so that's basically, but you get to be more creative in your own mind. So it's like kind of reading a book or watching the movie. So if you enjoy reading the book, and it is a different experience, that's the reason that many of us play board games. It is a different experience than playing a video game.
Yeah, I think this might be a more logical thing to not do alone. Video games and point-and-click games, I'm just guessing here, you often play them alone, and this might be a good way to do it as a group. I think this is a great game to play with more people, because there's the details on the locations are pretty nice. It's very nice artwork in this game, but it's not like you're sitting there and squinting in some escape room games. It's really hard to involve a lot of players because some will get bored. I don't think you will have a huge problem with that here. I also think that the tactile elements in this game, there's some puzzles that you might not have in a video game that I'm glad they had here. And also the writing in this game, I'm just going to say it, it's superb. It's so good. I'm really impressed by the humor and I am actually kind of glad it's no voice acting here because then I can make it funny in my mind, you know? I really enjoy my time with this.
So yeah, I agree with you. The story is amazing. One thing to note, it's not for kids.
Yes.
At all. And
I don't think it's a thriller though. It says thriller here. I don't know. I was just like, oh, this is...
It's more of like an action comedy, or like it's a thriller setting with a comedy style.
Yeah.
So it's more like those kind of heist movies. And yes, so the comedy is very good. The writing is very good. We laughed loud like many times while playing the game, both from really good jokes and from really bad jokes.
Yes.
And there are a lot, and that is something I love. I'm not gonna go spoiling anything. There's a lot of fun thing to explore, to find. A lot of inside jokes, a lot of these kind of things in this game, which is just you're just laughing a lot.
Yeah.
So I love this game. I think I could have talked about this game for like a long time. In the beginning, I was a bit unsure because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know a lot of the puzzles in the beginning. I just grew on me, and now I cannot wait. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be 3 games in this series, and I cannot wait to play the next games.
Yes, I agree.
So should we rate it?
Just going to mention that the rules are really great. We read them together, and it's a nice little tutorial, and it's very easy to get into.
Yes.
And it says like very clearly what you have to remember for this to be a good experience. Because if you like forget to cross all these boxes, the game will not like understood that you've done something.
Yeah.
And so I think that is a very clever way for the game to like progress the most correct way possible, which is really nice.
Yes.
But rating, I'm gonna rate this a 9. I had like so much fun. This was very, very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna rate it an 8.5. It's an extremely good game. One of the best kind of puzzle experiences I have had. I love it. I'm like, there's a couple of like I would have liked it to be a couple of more things that made it so that it had to be a board game. Like there is most of these could have been, but I love playing tactical. I love these kind of things. But it's
super happy.
It's nitpicking, you know.
Yeah.
Because this is a great game. I think if you enjoy this kind of whimsical comedy style, even if you enjoy point and click games, or even if you don't, if you like puzzles, if you like escape room games, I think you should get this, and I think you will love it to bits.
Yes, I
so
think
that
so too.
is Cantaloop.
Yeah.
So in the vein of long story-driven escape room games, let's talk now about Escape Tales,
Yeah.
Children of Wormwood.
So this is the third in the series from Escape. In the series from Escape Tales, we have very much enjoyed the 2 first ones
Yes.
they have got. So we had high hopes for this one, and this was a letdown for me. I'm just gonna be totally frank here.
Yeah. You're a cinema, not Frank.
I felt like the theme, they have tried to be a little like mystical. You can see it on the box here, a little like creepy, but I didn't connect to the theme or the story at all, which makes like the thing that I liked about Escape Tales in the first place was that it had kind of a dark theme, and the theme was very important for like the setting of the game, more important than Exit, for example, or Unlock. Exit especially because they have just like, you're in the mansion and this weird escape room makey guy have made another escape room for you. Good for you. So the thematics in this game I really have treasured before, and also they have had some really solid puzzles. But the theme in this was a real letdown, like the first thing I want to say.
The first thing, you kind of summarized everything I felt about this game. So let's go a bit deeper than on the things. So the story, I feel like they have taken it a bit more. Like the story in the first 2 were there. They were fun stories or dark, interesting stories, but the stories weren't like the hugest, like the biggest part. It was more like in the background. You enjoyed going through the story, but it's not like a forced big story. Here they have tried to make it a more of a story. I agree with you. For me, that didn't work so much because the story wasn't that good. Like if the story had been amazing, I would have liked it to be a bigger part of the game. But the story was just like, it had some okay parts, but it had some loose ends that just you kind of came and arrived and things happened, and it had so for me the story was just like subpar.
Yeah, I think in some both movies, series, games, you get this a little like a weird story, like in Lost, for example, the TV show that you might have heard of. It's don't
very
know,
good.
you don't have all the answers, and I don't need that.
No,
but
no.
when I don't have all the answers, I need to be invested in this. I need to care about what's happening. I need to care about, okay, what's happening next? Oh, I really wonder what this is about. Here it was just like it didn't connect with me, sadly.
And I'm trying to, like, you have a character that put in a couple of more like RPG things. I enjoy, like, what I would say, like, positive thing. I like that they are trying different things.
Yes.
And then some people would probably think that these elements are really cool. And so I really want them to continue trying new things. And some things will hit for me and some things will not hit for me. So we agree that the story and the setting were like not as good. So that means that we weren't as invested from the beginning or throughout the game. And so let's talk a bit about the puzzles because the puzzles are the most important thing in the escape room game. So what do you think about the puzzles in this?
I think the puzzles are okay. I think I have played other escape room games with better puzzles. For example, the two first in this series. The biggest problem I have with the puzzles in this game is that some of the puzzles felt a little repetitive.
Yes.
They have used kind of the same puzzle style for a few of the puzzles more than I would like.
Yeah.
Some repetitiveness I'm fine with, but here is a little more than I would like. And also, this is a box that we had most problems with solving together.
Yes.
Because we played this 3-player, which we did with the other 2 boxes as well.
Yeah.
And in this game, it felt more like, oh, give me that card I need to see. And the other 2 were just like sitting doing nothing. And I felt like that happened more for me in this one than in the 2 other games. I'm going to compare them because
obviously, because they should be compared when they are in the same series. So I agree with you a lot. Like, there was a lot, without spoiling exact puzzles, there were a lot of like sequential puzzles.
Yeah.
Like, what comes after this? Like, where is this gonna be? What's gonna happen? If this is here, what's gonna be here to put there? And actually, like, a couple of times I actually took a picture with my iPad to sit and solve the puzzle and blow it up because it was kind of small, and somebody else could have the actual card.
Yeah.
So there were good puzzles. Like, I'm not gonna go ahead and say this was a bad experience, because if this was the first one I played, I would probably have liked it a lot more. But the other 2 were really, really good. So this was just like a letdown, basically. Because there are cool puzzles, and there are a couple of cool things that they did here differently that I really enjoyed. Like, sort of being this cryptic because we can't really say what.
No.
But all in all, I think like both the story and the puzzles were worse than in the other 2 games.
Yes, it's just like you said, the other 2 have set the bar at a certain level, and I think that this game didn't reach that level, and that makes me a little disappointed. At some points in the game I was like, oh, this is stupid. But that is just me. That might be my expectations, that might be like how I click with a certain game. Sometimes it is like that because we have different brains.
Absolutely.
And that is a positive thing, but in this game I was just like, okay, this was a miss for me, and yeah, you can't win them all.
But I didn't have a bad time. I enjoyed most of my time playing it, so it's not like it's I think if you love escape room games as much as we do, I think you should play it. Like, but I don't think it should be the first one you get as an escape room game.
Yeah, I actually think that I would have not like...
You would have skipped it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
So do you want to rate it then?
It's really hard, like, rating this game, I feel like, because I feel like this is a little below average escape room game for me. And it might be... I'm just not. I'm trying to not be unfair here, but I think I'm going to rate it a 4.5, and that feels really low when I'm saying it out loud.
Yeah, because for me it's not that at all. It's like it's 6.
Oh, really?
It is. Oh, yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed playing it, but it's not up there with the other ones that are really good.
Yeah.
So I think a 6 is. I don't think it's as bad as you did, but I enjoy my time with it. But I almost said I would not play it again, but I wouldn't do that anyway. But it is not one I would recommend from the escape room games.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up and last of today, it's not an escape room. It is one of the first games we played from 2021.
Yeah.
And it's April. So this is a Maglev Metro.
This is from the designer that brought us Suburbia and Castles of the Mad King Ludwig. I had to...
You have to check. 10 back, yeah.
And it's basically a pick up and deliver route building game about like building metro.
Yes.
Rails. Something in the city and taking the people where they want to go. Yeah.
So what is cool about this game, or what like kind of is the unique thing about this? Because we have seen this kind of train game many times. What they're doing here is that half of the people that you move around are actual robots. And you need those robots to upgrade your company. So you want to send them to where they want to be so they can work for you and upgrade your company. So it is an engine builder game where you build up your engine, and then you also want to get points, and you're going to try to maximize because almost everything the robots doesn't give you any points. Only the passengers of different colors give you points.
Yeah.
One thing to note before we say anything else, we have only gotten to play this 2 players because of how everything is right now. Because it's kind of locked down here in Norway now, so we only gotten to play this 2 players.
Yes. I think that this has a very nice table presence because it looks really nice on the table, and the quality of the components is very good when we placed, because the stations are double layered cardboard.
Yeah.
So those like
Very
barely fit in the slots where they were going. So those could have been made like a tiny teensy bit smaller.
And also it felt like it looked almost like they were glued by hand, because they were not aligned at all. So they were not the best quality, but I like the chunky bits. It looks more like it doesn't look as serious as Age of Steam or for example Steam or Tramways.
And I love the see-through like player pieces for the route. Those
Amazing.
are really clever and very practical to have on the board, and it looks really good as well.
Because then you can place lines on top of each other from different colors, and you get that kind of metro line look, which is really really cool.
Very nice.
So that's about the looks. Let's talk a bit about what we feel about the game. The first time we played on the Manhattan map, which is a smaller map and also has this hub in the middle where you can place like all the robots can go there basically to work, and that takes up a lot of the board. It's not a big board, it's a very small board in any ways. And you also have Central Park, which takes out a bit, so that's like 6 spaces that's not in the game basically. And when I played the first time, I didn't like the game. I felt like it was kind of meh. I didn't feel like what I was doing was really important. I just built up and I got some points, and it was an okay experience.
Yeah, it was a nice learning game because it flowed, like the actions went very quickly because it's very little to think about. It was very simple, but I think if you're playing the game like second time and onwards, you would pick the other side, like the Berlin map. Because that gave more gamers experience of it was much like tighter where to build your route, and also it felt like where you put your robots to do the specific actions really mattered. Yeah, so I agree with you. The first time I played it, I was just like, why does this need to exist? Is this like
that's really harsh, but
but when we played it like with the real map, that is not a thing.
No, it's like different maps. So I like that there's 2 maps.
Yeah, I think so too. But I enjoyed that a lot more. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we played with the Berlin map onwards from that, and I really thought that when I played it, and then it made me feel like, oh, this is actually fun. I had fun from the beginning of the game, and I thought like, okay, this is where the game is at. Basically, it's a very simple game. You do 2 actions on your round, and then you can build up to do all the dudes both the robots and the passenger you deliver. You put them somewhere on your board to basically build your own engine and build your own end of game scoring. Those are elements I really like. This is a lighter game, so it might be used to actually introduce people to line building, to pick up and deliver, to kind of engine building, and to building up your own kind of scoring. Build your own kind of scoring.
I really enjoyed how you could sometimes you could do an adjust action to move around the robot that you have collected to do different stuff. That made it really like if you had done a mistake, it didn't feel that punishing. But if you do build a rail the wrong way, then the game is a little punishing. Then you have to use like an action to take it back.
Like if you if you see a mistake, you did that, so you're angry about that. If you do a mistake and then couple of turns later somebody sees that mistake,
Yeah.
you have to spend actions to remove it back.
Yeah, but I also like that all the rails that you build, you can take them back and build them somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
That it's time consuming, so it's not like ideal, but I think it gives the players more freedom to not like AP about their actions forever, but just try something, and if it doesn't work out, you can always come back from that.
Yeah, one thing I am unsure about, because of course there's like in these kind of games where you draw things from a bag, because you can refill the stations, that's kind of lucky. But then you have these kind of victory point cards that you, at the end of the game, you will score the highest of them, but then if you have filled some rows on the board, you will score more of them. And those cards can be very good. If you happen to draw cards that go very well together, you will easily get a lot of points. But then if you don't draw cards that go well together, but the thing is that then you can focus on getting the links point and focus on getting points of this, because you cannot do all the points. It's not a huge thing. But like the last game we played now, if I had randomly gotten another color meeple on my card, I would have won the game. And I didn't. There is a drafting variant which I will play with going forward, because that will be easier than to actually draft a better hand of cards, not just randomly getting it.
Yes, and I really want to play this with more players as well. As you said, we only play this with 2 now. I really can see how the board tightens a little bit up and how it's more happening with more players.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to trying that out as well.
Yeah, so there's some quick final thoughts. Like, as you see, this is not like an in-depth review. This is more like a first impressions review, and I enjoy this. It's not a fantastic game, but I think I would like to keep this and use this as kind of like an introduction to a lot of these kind of mechanisms that I really enjoy. Like, I enjoy engine building, I enjoy route building, I enjoy making your own scoring and all of that, so I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this holds up, like both when we played it with more players, but also in the Keyboard Call series, we're going to play like tramways and other such games that has some of the same elements, not like the same elements,
but a lot more heavy.
Yeah, and I will then see how well this fares. So I'm excited to try this. I think this is an above average game, so I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Cool, so that is the third and last game. So that is the end of another rambling review.
Yeah.
If you are still here and you enjoy the video and you have not subscribed yet, what are you thinking about?
Oh.
Just click the button. It is free and it makes us happy like this. And then you can click the bell button to get notifications every time we put out a new video. If you enjoy what we do and you have some money to spare, you can go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings. No pressure, of course. Everything here will be free forever.
Yeah.
And that is the end of another video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Senua.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.